Well, go on then, Auntie. Tell us that Japanese comedy is the literal worst thing since the invention of cars and commercial bras. And while you're at it, be sure to inform us that the sky is blue and all issues are political issues and politics itself is a mess of lies, evasions, folly, hatred, and schizophrenia. Ironically speaking, I think that most of these talking points are a bit overdone. Yes, even the part where I spit on the comedic animes, especially because at this point I feel that my employers are just doing this purely to make me suffer. Doesn't matter how many times I voice my disdain towards comedies, they'll inevitably manifest themselves in these lists, and as I like to say, if rape is inevitable, you might as well try having fun. So, Spy Multiply by Family is a spy comedy anime whose sole purpose is to test the audience patience for the inevitable format bullshit that I like to call season splitting, aka they take a 25-episode anime that by all means should be a 25-episode anime and then split it into 2 parts. The second part consisting will premiere in October 2022. Looks like the recession is hitting you people hard, eh? Especially given that it's not like in video games where they can just publish one season, look at the sales numbers, then cancel it and never see it again. And no, all of this shit is usually paid in advance, so it really is just an exercise in testing people's patience. And speaking of patience, this is a story of nicht Ostdeutschland and nicht Westdeutschland at the capital of Berlin. Now tell me which one of these names I've made up. Our main hero is a legendary spy with a code name Twilight that is very legendary and very spy, so he gets a secret mission of making friends with some bumbling politician that does some shady shit. In order to do so, he needs to create a family unit and force the child to infiltrate a prestigious school. Thus, he adopts Anya, a 6-year-old who can read minds, and marries Yor, an assassin that married him to keep her work a secret. None of them are telling about their other professions and goals. Shenanigans ensue. Pacing is usually the first casualty during season splitting, and this show is pretty much the star example of this, as the first 12 episodes of the show are exactly half of the show, and it feels like they haven't done anything of importance for the plot, which is an achievement in its own right. At least People of Wise Men managed to perform some plot during its runtime. Here we were basically only introduced to the main cast of characters, something that shows like Dragon Maid have managed to do in, 3 episodes at best? The comedy of the show isn't that great either. The previous mentioning of Shenanigans is pretty much spot on in terms of comedy. Hinamatsuri comes to mind as the closest comparison. Twilight tries and fails to be a father, Yor tries and fails to be a normal wife and mother, Anya fails at everything, but since she's a 6-year-old, we're supposed to root for her because children are adorable and cute and tries her best for this mess of a family to work. Pooh. Oh yeah, don't look at me like that. I know what the show tries to do, and I'm more than certain that a lot of people wanted exactly this, probably because their own families never loved them and they seek a lasting dopamine dose in entertainment media, but unlike you people, I had the misfortune of not only siring a child, but also having to wrangle several classes worth of children, and Anya's behavior doesn't activate that parenting instinct of wanting to protect that smile in quotation marks the size of a mortadella. No, instead, it makes me want to find a pipe iron and cave the little parasite skull in. I don't like children is me point, and having most of your comedy revolve around it is a sure way to make me annoyed, especially since this is only half of a series. We only barely get the inevitable good part of these shows, where the cold spy realized that having a loving family isn't actually that bad. And get anything of note about your period. The graphics aren't that bad. Actually, everything in this anime is silky smooth in terms of animation and the drawings in general. The music is kinda lackluster, but I generally ain't that much of a fan of this typical jazz-like music they put in these spy shows. It doesn't make me think a thrilling action spy drama, it makes me think of Lupin, which may be the reason all of these shows even have these tracks in the first place. Overall, I can definitely see why people like this show, and personally speaking, I will see the second part, if anything to see if it was worth splitting them up in that fashion, but overall, a lot of the show feels wasted on me, as I'm most definitely not the target audience for this type of show. I mean, last time I checked, I was more into a cult fetish anyway.